There are so many galaxies in the universe. Our Milky Way galaxy is one among many, and it's already hard to play TFT in that one. Imagine all the other galaxies that we're encountering and traveling to in our games. Hey everyone, and welcome to another ProGuides TFT video. Today we're going to be talking about the whole set's theme, galaxies. We're going to go over 4 galaxies today, half of them. What should be played in them, what you should not play, any positioning peculiarities that might occur, and some general tips for each one. If you're a new player, you definitely want to check this video out, and if you've been playing TFT for a while, you should be able to streamline your decision making by watching this. There will be another video on the topic which will include the new galaxy introduced with 10.15. Before we dive in, I just want to let you guys know that we have a Discord community and a new subreddit that is growing really fast. We have you to thank for that, and we want to continue building our community and helping you be a part of it. Make sure to check out the link in the description below, and I will see you there. Galaxies are a set mechanic that is much more invasive than previous ones, in that most of their effects affect you throughout the game and alter your gameplay significantly. You can still play normally in a galaxy game and do well, but you will not do consistently well if you don't adapt. And that's why we're here. So let's start traveling to our galaxies for the day. Dwarf planet, the most recent galaxy to enter our universe. This one is a blast from the past and is effectively a set 1 board. It's fairly more awkward to play in as it's quite hard to avoid large AoEs and the like. Starting with comps that are good on this map, Unlimited Blade Works has to take the cake. Xayah is able to hit units much faster, even if you position her in the corner with a Quicksilver. If you do it right, even infiltrators can't drop on her because other units are on adjacent hexes of her. Try it out, you'll have a blast. Astro Snipers is also quite good on this galaxy. As weird as it sounds, since there's less space, so snipers theoretically do less damage. It's actually not true, since if they're hitting the opposite side of the board, you still get a substantial damage buff. Another big point for the snipers is actually Gnar. His utilities in this galaxy can be massive, displacing the entire enemy team and granting Teemo the time to blow them to smithereens. Comps that are not good on this galaxy include those that are vulnerable to big AoE. Star Guardians are a good example of this. Alone, they are too vulnerable and die too easily or get CC'd. If you bunch them out, AoE will wipe those squishy sorcerers out. You can do well with them on this galaxy, of course, but if your opponents know what they're doing, you will struggle due to the positioning limitations this galaxy brings to the table. Blasters and Cybernetics, both comps that are really vulnerable to CC, are also struggling on this galaxy. Aurelian's Soul has less space, so he dies quicker since he gets targeted. Jinx is super CCable, and if Aurelia gets stuck on a Nico, it's over. Positioning tricks that you should keep in mind for this galaxy include infiltrator positioning. The class is both easier and harder to play. Since the map is much more horizontal, you only need to focus on where the infiltrators drop, not the depth they will go to, like with normal galaxies. Also, Fizz is much stronger on this one, since his AoE usually hits more than 3 units, depending on how well you aim. Another positioning trick includes putting carries in the front line, like Jhin or Xayah. Interestingly enough, especially in an infiltrator meta, this is much more viable in this map, since it's such a close distance anyway. Be careful about applying it and do it after thoroughly scouting though. A general tip about this galaxy is to keep switching your position. For some reason, people are a lot more positioning conscious on this map, so they seem to scout more. By getting into the habit of switching your positioning often enough, you will have higher chance of trapping someone who positioned for you and get that sweet victory. Overall, it's a tougher galaxy to play, but the more you get used to it and play the right comps, the more consistent your top 4s will be. Good luck. Galactic Armory. Strategy for this galaxy really depends on what items you get at the start. So let's see. Starting with comps that are good on this map, Cybernetics takes the cake. Having 2 extra full items, regardless of which ones they are, gives you a strong advantage in the early game that you can snowball into a strong Cybernetics game. Comps that rely on specific items that you got, for example, if you got Blue Buff and Morello, then Metal Gear Snake is something you might want to look at. Comps that are flexible with items as well, using both AD and AP, as well as frontline items are quite strong here too. Astro Snipers and Dark Star are 2 good examples. Comps that are not good on this galaxy are really not a thing. The only situation where a comp really isn't good to play is when it is countered by the comp that the lobby is most likely to run because of the items that drop. For example, Protectors do really well against Cybernetics. If the Armory dropped Warmogs and Bramble Vest, maybe it's not the best idea to run Cybers. Positioning is much the same here, unless everyone gets a Shroud of Stillness or Zephyr, or both, but thankfully that hasn't happened to me yet. Phew! If everyone gets those, it's imperative that you start positioning properly, even in the early game. Your front line in the early is more important than your back line, so a usual trick is to backline your front line and put your DPS right on top of them. That way, the Zephyr will usually hit your DPS units, and by the time your tanks have moved to the front, the DPS will have landed safely. A general tip about this Galaxy is not to do the obvious. Did you get Infinity Last Whisper as the 2 items? Go Star Guardians. I guarantee you that the other 7 people will go some variation of Astro Snipers, Cybers, and Darkstar, leaving all those sweet E-girls for you to use. Well, maybe that's an extreme example, as IE and Last Whisper do well in too many comps, but you understand the concept. Try to go for the comp that is less obvious given the items, as it is much more likely to be uncontested, resulting in an easier top 4 for you. This Galaxy is fun every time, as it includes the most mind games out of all of them. Make sure to put in the effort and it will reward you with juicy LP though. Trade Sector. This is a fun one. Everyone likes free stuff, and free rerolls are the best kind of freebie. Starting with comps that are good on this map. All comps that rely on 3 stars are good. At the moment, the only hyper roll comps are Unlimited Bladeworks and the Caitlyn reroll, but that might change in the future, so keep an eye out for our top comps videos. You can place well in this Galaxy playing stuff that is not really viable otherwise, since you can 3-star units much more consistently and earlier. For example, Rebels with 3-star Ziggs, Battlecast with 3-star Illaoi, Nocturne, and Cog are some of the examples of playable comps here. Comps that are not good on this Galaxy rely on the lobby. A comp is not really good on this Galaxy if too many people are rolling for it. Due to the extra reroll, some players will find their desired units much faster, making it much more difficult for you to find them. Make sure you scout to stay as uncontested as possible in the mid and late game. Positioning is not affected in this Galaxy, so let's move on to a couple of useful tips. A general tip here is to aim for 2-star units. The early game is inflated a lot in this Galaxy, with people 2-starring units instead of leveling quite often. It is more likely to see 3 2-star units at 2-1 instead of 4 1-stars. Keep all pairs you get in the first few stages, as 2-star units are the name of the game in such situations. In other metas, more people will be going for hyper roll comps if there are more than one. Trying to counter them by going for the uncontested route is a solid strategy. For example, if 5 to 6 people decide to go for hyper roll comps, going for a power level comp will make your life much easier in that game. Finally, due to the extra rerolls, you are more likely to see units you could use. Buying too many of them can take a toll on your econ, so be selective with what you buy and focus more on immediate value. This Galaxy is great. Getting to press D every now and then relieves my reroll addiction. Be careful not to keep pressing it or your econ will get destroyed, and you don't want that. Treasure Trove. Left the best for last, at least for this video. I hope they never remove this one. Starting with comps that are good on this map, Cybernetics is the obvious answer. The extra items allow you to itemize Vayne or Aurelia and Echo, now that Vayne was gutted in 10.14. The lots of extra gold at the start also give you a good start for your leveling, which is good for Cybers. Any comp that has multiple carries, like Sniper variations or Sorcerers. It's also the perfect item Galaxy, where you can greed for absolutely great items on your carries. Comps that are not good on this Galaxy are comps with too many synergy bots that don't really use items well. Blasters is a good example of this, as there's mostly Jinx and Aurelion Sol that use items really well, followed by Gnar and Vi who are decent with them. Positioning is not really affected in a grand scale in this Galaxy besides the early game, where it is more likely to find strong 2-star units with 2 or even 3 completed items on them, so positioning to avoid them or kill them quickly is key. A general tip here is to use the item pool. Since carousels do not count towards your item pool drops, when you take an item from the carousel that hasn't dropped for you yet, keep in mind that it is quite likely to drop later. The item pool gets depleted a lot faster in this Galaxy, so it's more likely to find the items you're missing. Greed for perfect items. If there's a Galaxy to do it, it's this one. Don't slam items after carousel. Do it after PvE, unless you're bleeding HP too badly. Like in Trade Sector, people will be much stronger in the early game on this Galaxy, so make sure to take steps for it. Try to find 2-star units early by keeping pairs to make the most out of the extra items you got. I really hope they never remove this. It feels so good. Like all inflationary Galaxies, it's fun to play, but be careful because half the lobby is going Cybers. How has your intergalactic combat been going? Share your experience and knowledge with us in the comments, helping others play in the various Galaxies in the TFT universe. As always, feedback is appreciated, so please hit us in the comments, and if you like this video, hit the like and subscribe button, and we will see you guys in the next one. Now get out there and farm some LP using what you learned today.